My brother, Mr. Justice Bhushan Gawai, thank you for your kind words and giving me this opportunity to speak to all of you. Mr. Justice Alok Aradhe, Chief Justice, Bombay High Court, brothers and sister judges from the Bombay High Court sitting on the dais and off the dais, our senior, Mr. Justice V.S. Sripurkar, the Advocate General, State of Maharashtra, Vice Chancellor, Maharashtra Law University, Nagpur, members of the General Council, Executive Council, Academic Council, the Registrar, the esteemed faculty of this institution, proud family members, and most importantly, the graduating batches of BA LLB, LLM, and PhD programs. A very good morning and namaskar. I am delighted to join for the third convocation ceremony of Maharashtra Law University, Nagpur. It feels particularly fitting as we gather at Nagpur, the heart of India. Just as this city stands as a geographical center of our nation, MLU Nagpur stands at the intersection of legal traditions and innovation, shaping minds that will influence the course of justice across the country. Looking out at this gathering, I see faces emulating with pride, accomplishment, and perhaps a touch of nostalgia. The air is charged with the memories of your journey. I can sense your amazement at how swiftly the time has passed at the institution over here. Today marks an end and also a beginning. You have navigated structured waters of the law school and its predictable rhythms of classes, examination, and moot courts. This includes those countless nights fueled by coffee and determination to turn out submissions late at night and even by 11:59 p.m. But now, the vast ocean of legal practice beckons and brings with it endless possibilities and challenges. With today's generation of students, one wonders what a person of my age, which you have, can say, which you have not already heard. Let me skip the theory and dive straight into 5 key perspectives that can shape how you can handle highs and lows of the legal profession. First is adaptability to evolving nature of advocacy. I understand that many of you might currently view the legal profession through the lens of law firms versus litigation. I hope, piously, some of you also think of judiciary. But the legal profession extends far beyond these conventional parameters. The world that awaits you is more expansive than you might have imagined. Here's what I have seen time and again. Stepping into this profession is just as much about unlearning as it is about applying what you have learned. Unlearning doesn't mean abandoning your knowledge. It means adapting it. Unlearning is simply a way of seeing things from a new angle. It is how you'll transform what you know into tools of real-world challenges. At the core, the law is about something very fundamental and endemic to any societies: people's problems. The issues which plague the people are just as varied and unique as the people themselves. And we are the problem solvers. Each client's unique circumstances demand a tailored solution. You'll be faced just not with a legal issue, but a human story. A businessman dream threatened by regulatory hurdles, a family grappling with property disputes, a community or an individual fighting for their fundamental rights. This is where the true art of legal practice lies, in the ability to come up with creative solutions that address both the legal and human dimensions of the problem. It is for this reason that as you step into this new chapter, it is important for you to remember that the law degree is not the end of your education. It is merely your foundation. The real beginning begins now. The legal profession demands more rigorous study and deeper understanding than any law school examination. You'll need to grasp not just the letter of the law, but its spirit, its history, its practical application, and its execution. Unlike a law school where a mistake might cost you a grade, in practice, your work directly affects people's livelihoods, liberties, and freedoms. This responsibility is what makes your profession both challenging and deeply meaningful. But while the core idea of problem solving means the same, today the boundaries between different domains of knowledge are increasingly blurred. A constitutional lawyer must grapple with scientific evidence as much as fundamental rights. A criminal lawyer must comprehend digital forensics as much as criminal procedure. The current legal landscapes demand specialists across numerous fields, from intellectual property to environmental law, from corporate governance to human rights. This evolution calls for lawyers who bring varied perspectives and interdisciplinary knowledge. Just as problems themselves cannot be fit into boxes, neither can their solutions. As our problems keep becoming more dynamic, the need for its solutions has to be more flexible. The road to justice itself cannot be a hurdle to achieve it. Not all disputes are suited for courtroom litigation or even arbitration. Mediation is the mode for redressal that offers us more than just dispute resolution. It opens doors to creative solutions beyond simple yes or no answers. By choosing this path, we not only resolve conflict efficiently, but also strengthen relationships between people and businesses. I urge you to think beyond the convention and broaden your horizons to make justice delivery cost-effective and time-bound. The second aspect I want to highlight is using your degrees as a tool of social change and good. Today we face challenges that our predecessors could hardly have imagined. Climate change threatens not only our environment, but the very fabric of human rights and social justice. Digital evolution raises unprecedented questions about privacy, security, and nature of human interaction. Democracy itself is being reshaped by new technologies and social dynamics. These aren't just abstract problems, they are very fundamental challenges to humanity, human dignity, and liberty that requires innovative solutions. This reminds me of an important truth about our profession. Lawyers have all been architects of social change. From our nation's struggle for independence to fighting against invasion of privacy, lawyers have been at forefront of social movements. This is no coincidence. Our training equips us with the unique combination of skills that society desperately needs at the time of change. Ability to understand complex problems, articulate solutions, and transform ideas into actionable change. We don't just interpret the law, we shape it to the meeting and needs of the society. As lawyers, we find ourselves in a privileged position of understanding the pulse of the country's population and citizens, and having right resources to redress it. We do not have to look far to fulfill our duty as a part of the noble profession, whether it is work taken up pro bono, assisting in a legal aid matter, or helping mediate differences. The options are many. In fact, the Indian legal aid structure is perhaps the most robust in the world, where assistance is not to all stakeholders, the accused, the victim, and the families of both the accused and the victim. Indian legal aid cover includes 80% of our population, and the young workforce can help the objectives of NALSA to fruition. Combination of robust legal aid framework and the energy of the young lawyers has the potential to make India a world leader in accessibility. The policy of one for the kitchen, one for the soul strikes a balance between our professional aspiration and realizing the full potential of your profession as a lawyer. I can say this with confidence, that work done for the good for the society gives you a purpose that keeps you going. The third perspective, which might be of interest to many of you, is tackling uncertainty. I see many faces before me today, eager, accomplished, and perhaps anxious. Over the past few months, I imagine a single question must have lingered in your minds, perhaps echoing in every conversation. What's next? It is a question which carries both excitement and uncertainty. Some of you have a clear vision of your path ahead. Others might feel a knot in their stomachs when they're faced with this question. At your age, and for that matter, any age, it is perfectly all right not to be sure of your next step. Your generation is perhaps an exception from our generation to one extent. You plan everything to the T. Your career steps are mapped out. Every milestone has a timeline. It is practical and often sometimes necessary. But there is a catch. Passion doesn't follow a checklist. It is not sudden lightning bolts which solve everything. Sometimes it is not about chasing what you want, but letting it find you along the way. After all, the detours often lead to most rewarding destinations. Consider Nani Palkiwala himself, arguably one of India's greatest legal minds, who stumbled up into law not only because admissions to other degrees were closed in that year. He embraced the unplanned, which opened the doors for greatness for him. But here lies the paradox. The more you enrich the world beyond law, the better lawyer you become. Every new perspective you gain becomes a tool in your legal arsenal. Think of this way. You can either be a magnifying glass, focused intensely on a particular point, or you can be a prism, taking light from all directions and creating something richer in your progress. I can attest this myself. Even though they do not align with my work, I often keep newspaper clippings on new developments in the field of science, technology, and business, just because I find them interesting. Ultimately, one's application of law can only be as good as their understanding of the world we seek to govern. The next important aspect which I want to talk about is the importance of self-discipline and hard work. Hard work, yes, I know, it might sound boring or repetitive to all of you. Maybe even a bit of old-fashioned today's world when you have 10 tips to succeed and how-to guides. But the long and short of it is that it is absolutely non-negotiable. No matter how talented or even connected you are, nothing replaces the effort of showing up day after day and putting it in work. In today's world, there is so much emphasis on networking and curating the best in the form of LinkedIn and so. I am not here to deny these things do not matter. They do. Networking creates opportunities, and showcasing your work is important. But I think your generation sometimes forgets the first, the most essential step: tenacity. Motivation can get you started, but that's not enough. Motivation comes in bursts, but then it fades. What sustains you is self-discipline and willingness to work, especially in the days when you don't feel like it. Success isn't built on inspiration. It lies on the habits you cultivate, the effort you put in, and the consistency with which you show up. As it is said, harder you work, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Luck is not to be found, it is to be earned. It is in your profession, progress is never linear. Success doesn't come overnight. Setbacks are inevitable. There will be always days when you feel your effort is leading you nowhere. But this is where the resilience comes in. When those moments of discouragement come, having a strong support system can make all the difference. Surround yourself with people who can lift you up, friends and families who can encourage you, but also those who can challenge you and show you the mirror when needed. As it is said, no person is an island. Success is deeply personal, but is rarely achieved in isolation. The last part of my speech is a touch more philosophical: identity. In the years ahead, you will hear countless voices telling you what the lawyer should be. What you need to be aggressive to succeed in litigation. That you need certain personality for corporate law. That there is a prescribed way to network, to dress, to speak, to exist in those legal spaces. Some days you'll sit in the meetings, in the courtrooms, feeling like an imposter, wondering if somebody else got a secret manual on how to be a real lawyer. Let me tell you this: some of the most formidable litigators I know never raised their voice, yet commanded absolute attention in the courts. Some brilliant corporate lawyers prefer solitude to socializing, yet they build remarkable practices through sheer brilliance. Yes, they knew the president's call. Yes, their legal reason was impeccable. These giants of profession will also tell you that your mind is not a legal vessel. What sets them apart is how they bring about all parts of their personality into practice. In a world of cynicism, remember, authentic work cuts through the noise. Your voice, your approach, your way of thinking, paired with the excellence of work, that's an unbeatable combination. The most powerful thing you can be is be good. Congratulations to the students, family, and the faculty. Thank you, and Jai Hind.